This is Curtis coming at you from Ace Spread Studios once again covering the 2021 NFL season. The Dolphins beat the Saints in a resounding fashion and took one step closer to the miraculous turnaround and possibly miraculous entrance into the playoffs. What a turnaround it would be. And for me, growing up, loving Don Shula, knowing this season was dedicated to him, what a perfect dedication that for the Dolphins to knock off the Patriots in Week 18 and march into the playoffs. Everything after that would be gravy, tell you the truth. We're still not there yet. We got to take on the Titans, which is going to be a much tougher team than the Saints tonight. And then, of course, we got to beat the Patriots. Saints, I did a podcast this morning for the Bills, and thank the Bills for knocking off the Patriots, which allow us to control our own destiny and set up this super matchup in Week 18. Finn's sign fell in the middle of the podcast. I got nervous. I thought there was like evil portent from the football gods. Not even close. Didn't realize, but a lot of things happened. The C word had knocked out 22 players on the Saints. Injuries had knocked out a handful of others. Saints were without their starting Pro Bowl tackles, Pro Bowl guard, their entire linebacker core. I think both their starting tight ends who were excellent run blockers. This is not to knock the Dolphins' victory. They need this win. I don't care how they got it, tell you the truth. Somebody a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, said, what are you talking about all these injuries for? It doesn't matter. We had injuries too. You're right. You're right, brother. Injuries and the C word is happening to everybody. But while it doesn't matter when it comes to wins and losses, it does matter when you're trying to evaluate. You're trying to take a look at the win and see what kind of win it was. This was a needed win. There was some adversity they really didn't need to have, but they fought themselves out of it. Tua fought himself out of it, had some big plays, had a boneheaded play, but a lot of nice plays inside. We'll take a look at that. Dolphins did their job. We got to see some of the things that were good and bad. They're going to head to the Titans next. Much tougher game, but we'll deal with that another day. Right now, I want to enjoy 7 wins in a row. I want to enjoy being 8-7 and that beautiful Week 18 matchup. So tasty, man. The fan's still in me. I'm not really full evaluator Curtis right here. It just feels real nice. So let's take a look at some of the big plays, some of the things that I saw as key instances, and see what that said about this team tonight and going forward. And one of the first ones you can see here, just right away, that they were talking about Tua needed to drop this in the hole to Waddle going across the announcers, but that was really close. But that was very, very difficult pass. But then here's Tua stepping up, delivering a nice ball in the pocket, nice little out route. But then here you see you can beat up, again, the offensive line just struggling. Nice, another nice out route, nice pass. This was a beauty. This is where he can climb the pocket, and that agility of his looks so, so good. I mean, this is one of his traits. But then you see here, Jesse Davis got beat, but I'm going to dig into that a little bit after this. This was the poor pass play by Tua. It was just very, very boneheaded. But look at this. For the people who say he can't, that is, 40, 50 yards down, 40 yards, 45 yards down the field on a dime. Sweet pass play. Then again, getting brutalized. Offensive line was a disaster all night. But this was a nice play call. The OCs did a good job calling up some wins. Tua again stepping up, buying some time. This was a nice pass play. Again, his mobility, his ability to, score on, to make things happen on the move. So there was a lot of good plays. And I should have put in here the Duke Johnson broken tackle play. But I'm going to dig into the running game next. But this offensive line, as I've said, is going to be the make or break for this season, for this team. And they were awful. I mean, how many penalties were there? Holding penalties. There could have been more, too, that weren't even called. And you could see, as I did my analysis of Duke Johnson after the Jets game, I said, the Jets are really, really bad. You could see tonight, without any even starting linebackers, just a couple of good defensive linemen, how difficult it was to run. Duke Johnson, he runs hard, and that to me is a very good asset as a complement to a stable of backs. Still don't see him being what people kind of saw in the Jets game as a game changer. We can go into that. I'll go into a run film study later on. But he was 13 for 39 for 3 yards. Lindsey, 13 for 36 for 2.8 yards. Gaskin, 3 for 10 for 3.3 yards. These running backs can't show their stuff because the offensive line is so terrible. And it's going to be so much more difficult against the Titans. But they still were able to run the football. And this is what I had been saying all season, that even if you're not getting tons of production from it, the fact that you are running, it helps keep the defense honest, moves the clock, creates time of possession for the defense, and it brings some physicality to the defense, and it wears them out. And this is 26, they had 29 runs. And this is a great recipe. And this is kind of what Gailey did last year and was a master of. It's a shame it took these OCs basically, 9 games to figure out. But they figured it out in the most critical part. And if they keep it up, this could really help the Dolphins take these next 2 wins and make it to the playoffs. Now, Waddle, 10 receptions on 12 targets, 92 yards, a touchdown. He really is, I still think he's overpaid, but the kid is as good as, just imagine if this offensive line could open up, it could protect and open up some running lanes, what you could do with play action and stuff like that with this kid. Very, very, very good player. Looks like he's going to break Anquan Bolden's record. That's nothing to sneeze at. So he had a very good day. And then Hollins had that one big 40-yard touchdown. Clutch catch, clutch throw. Dolphins did all they could. Tua, 19 for 26. We saw the one ugly pick, but he made a lot of nice passes. And you could see the kid was under duress. And even under duress, he was able to sneak out and make some big plays. And that big pass play to Hollins, the 40-yarder, that shows that his arm isn't a noodle. That was, you can't not say that was an excellent deep throw. And that's where Tua is going to have to come with his deep throws through the process of reading a defense and through the plays opening it up. He's not going to be able to just throw guys open and throw through tight windows like some big armed quarterbacks. But who cares? Drew Brees didn't have that kind of arm, and he is going to the Hall of Fame. So Tua showed just about all you really need to see from a quarterback. The one boneheaded play, he's got to kind of eliminate that. But when you watch all these quarterbacks, they do this stuff. But you want to see it kind of breaks between games, like once every couple of games. Overall, Tua had a good game, even though he was under pressure. Needham the pick, Jones the pick. They were easy picks. Book isn't a good player. He's raw, he's young, he's a rookie. But the ball hits you in your hands, it could drop. So making those catches, those interceptions, obviously Needham turning it into 7, was big. They did what they're supposed to. Baker, 6 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for losses. Doing much better sliding to the outside. He's much less of a detriment to the run defense and much better at finding his niche of pressure and using speed to cut off the edge. Really like him so much more on the outside. Agba, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss. Sealer was in on, he could have had 4 sacks today, or 3 sacks, but he missed like 2, maybe 3 sacks that were really right in his hand, but he got out of the way. Seal of those 6 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Defense played well. Everybody really did their job. Beat up team, yes. And you got to put that a little caveat. but it's a win that we needed. This week is going to be critical that this offensive line plays better. It's going to come down to this offensive line. And the run game, as I said, is based on your offensive line, unless you're Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Earl Campbell. And obviously, even they need blocking. The blocking is very poor. And going against the Titans is going to be very tough. But there is plenty of hope. I'm going to get into the film and see what we're up against with the Titans. I haven't watched them a couple of weeks. Haven't studied their film too much. But the Dolphins did all they needed to tonight. Tua showed leadership. He showed the ability to bounce back. He demonstrated an arm that some people question. He showed intestinal fortitude, not get his head down, making plays. The offensive line, while they weren't the greatest, they did provide some space. And the running game, while not highly productive, was effective in the ability to continue to pound the ball. And the defense, what more can you say about that? We did it. We did it. So I'm going to do some more film study, dig into it. This is just my fan take. I could be wrong on some things, maybe. I don't think I'm wrong on too much, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to look at the run game. I'm going to look at the offensive line, because this is the most critical aspect for us. But we really have a shot. Titans are a little beat up. I think they're going to be even a tougher game than the Patriots, because we play the Patriots home. And if we could beat the Titans, I really am going to feel very good against the Patriots. But what a season so far. We bounced back. I kind of wrote them off. But these last two games are playoff quality games. So get yourself ready. We did it. We did it. We did it. This is Curtis saying thank you for staying to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Comments mean the most. Love the comments. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. I learn from them. I question my own studies. I question my own evaluations. I really learn a lot and create a lot of the podcasts through them. So comments mean a tremendous amount to me. Plus, I just like chatting with people. It's like being at the bar, you know. Subscribes and likes help us with the Google awards, keep us in business, and I like that too. So this is Curtis saying, man, we did it, baby. Catch you next time, and be well. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.